Very good evening to you. I'm Lisa Broom with the CBC Evening News. In our top story tonight, Prime Minister Frendel Stuart has given an emphatic endorsement of one of Barbados's newest publications. Of Halls, Hills and Holes, Place Names of Barbados, was written by historian Sir Woodville Marshall and entails the history of the origins of Barbados's villages. Shane Jones attended the book launch at the Barbados Museum.
There was a healthy turnout and show of support for the publication, which took 10 years to complete. The book started as a small research project, combining the late Ronnie Hughes' interest in the history of plantations with Sir Woodville's interest in the history of the origins of villages. The book explains the origins of about 2,000 place names and is pregnant with information for Barbadians curious about their places of birth. During his opening remarks, Council President of the Barbados Museum and Historical Society, Sir Trevor Carmichael, hailed the book as a success.
It combines scholarly, academically analytical historicism with easy, manageable presentation and prose, which will interest and edify the lay reader, while at the same time continuing to challenge and charm those persons steeped not only in historical method, the place naming process itself, but also in the historical context of the place names. Its 606 pages therefore justify and satisfy these important objectives and possibilities.
Author Sir Woodville stressed that the publication was a massive effort spanning years of research. He thanked his co-compilers, Drs. Pat Stafford, Carl Watson and Tara Innes. He says the book can also be regarded as a parish guide through place names.
When you look at the name, what you are going to find is not that the name exists because it bears some similarity to an object or anything like that. What is attempted is an explanation in a historical sense of how that name came about, how that particular name came about. So in doing all of that, it is possible then to suggest that certain processes, certain important processes inside of Barbados, I wouldn't say they're highlighted, but at least sidelights on those processes are presented so that you will learn something about the course of settlement in the island.
Prime Minister Frendel Stuart notes it's important that Barbadians know their cultural heritage.
And of Halls, Hills and Holes is a celebration and a description and a justification of the means by which we have created ourselves and the means by which we continue to keep ourselves in existence as a people. I've been quite intrigued by the fidelity to facts and following the facts where they lead to come to conclusions that help us better to understand the place names here in Barbados.
There was a book signing with Sir Woodville after the launch. The retail price of Halls, Hills and Holes is $100 Barbados. Shane Jones, CBC News.
Thanks, Shane. Strike action by some Liat pilots is seemingly not significantly affecting the carrier's operations at the Grantley Adams International Airport. Kareem Smith tells us more.
For the most part, operations at the airport today appeared normal at the Liat counter. The majority of flights were on time with the exception of one going to St. Vincent, which was late. A husband and wife who arrived from St. Vincent and were continuing to London say they were stranded in St. Vincent for just over an hour. The husband says while their connecting flight was not disrupted, they were unhappy with an apparent lack of professionalism.
We're supposed to leave at 10:20, but we got on the plane about 12 o'clock midday and left about 12:15. It's a bit frustrating, but it's not really. I said fortunate. We're okay. It just means a shorter wait here. But I mean, there were some young people. I mean, I think there was a family with 2 young children. But again, if they're on the same flight as us, but obviously when you've got young children, it's more of an issue just hanging around, particularly when you don't know what's happening. I think that's the lack of information is the main issue.
Employees at the Liat counter offered no information about the strike or on how it was affecting the airline. However, a public relations official for the airport said there were no major disruptions. He says of the 17 Liat flights scheduled to pass through, only 2 were cancelled, one of which was going to Port of Spain. There were also a number of slight delays, which he says was normal for the regional carrier. Kareem Smith, CBC News.
Well, LIAT's chairman, Dr. Gene Holder, says the airline's management is doing everything possible to settle the matter with the pilots. He says the airline does not agree with their pay demands and have made a number of proposals which they believe to be reasonable. Dr. Holder says if the sides continue to be at odds, the airline's management will have to wait, according to him, until the light shines. He says management is dealing with reality and what is possible. However, he told the CBC one does not have to be a genius to realize that if flights that are booked continue to be cancelled, it is only a matter of time before LIAT is grounded. The LIAT chairman says it is a sad situation as the airline employs many workers and has survived for 60 years when many others have gone under. He warns that if the current situation continues, LIAT may join them. In other news now, another 5 school girls, 3 of them 15 years old and 2 14, appeared before Magistrate Ian Weeks at the District D Magistrates Court this morning, jointly charged with the May 17th beating of a Leicester Vaughan student. 4 of them pleaded not guilty to the charge and were granted $500 bail each. They were ordered to return to court on August 10th. The 5th student, one of the 15-year-olds, pleaded not guilty and was remanded to the Government Industrial School until June 12th. A total of 9 students have so far been charged with the incident. The high number of young people involved in drugs continues to be a concern for the Royal Barbados Police Force. Word of this from Acting Inspector Roland Cobbler. He was speaking at the closing ceremony for the force's Drug Abuse Resistance Education Program, or DARE. There, students from the St. Paul's and the St. Ambrose primary schools received certificates for successfully completing the 10-week program. During that course, the participants were taught to make positive choices and to resist illegal drugs.
During my daily duties, I encounter a number of young people who openly admit to the use of illegal drugs. This is further supported by the results of a study conducted by the Criminal Justice Research Planning Unit, which revealed that children as young as 7 years old in Barbados are engaging in use of illegal drugs. For us as members of the Royal Barbados Police Force, this is a worrisome trend, since the increasing prevalence of drug use by children and its associated antisocial behaviors will have the potential to threaten the stability of our society.
Assistant Commissioner of Police Erwin Boyce urged the young ones to stay away from crime.
It's not pain. Crime can shut you away for a number of years in an institution that you hear the slamming of doors and you're fed, not even as a baby, you're fed in a way that can be demeaning. You don't have a choice as to what you would want or how you would eat.
It was an unofficial Teachers Appreciation Day at the Grantley Prescott Primary School as Class 4 students thanked their 2 teachers who helped them to succeed in the 11+ examination. Kishmar Singis visited the school and filed this report.
Year upon year, Grantley Prescott Primary continues to improve in the 11+ examination. This year was another good one for the St. Barnabas institution. Students secured places at several schools, including Harrison College, Queen's College, Combermere, Dighton Griffith, Foundation, the Lodge School, St. Leonard's Boys, St. George Secondary, Parkinson Memorial, Allen School, Leicester Vaughan Memorial, Graydon Silly and Springer Memorial. Top boy Azari Haynes and top girl Unique Small welcomed the results. Come September, Azari is heading to Harrison College, while Unique is bound for Queen's College.
I feel great.
You're passing for Harrison College. What your family say?
They said that congratulations and that they will do well at Harrison's.
So walk me through, how was the exam for you?
It was kind of easy.
I feel excited that I got to the school that I wanted.
What about your family now?
They are very happy for me and they're saying that they did well in helping me get to where I am right now.
Other students were full of praise for their teachers.
I will be attending Collimer, and I was very excited when I got the results. I was in tears of joy, and my family was very happy for me, and they congratulated me. And it was a challenging experience at the common entrance, but it was nice and okay, and I got through everything, and my teachers encouraged me and helped me as well, and they're very proud of me.
I am going to Dayton Griffith, and my family is very excited for me, and they say that they are very proud for me. And my teachers were working very hard with me, and I'm glad I get to the school I wanted to go to.
Despite not achieving his school of choice, Kamal Bryan, the captain of the football team, is optimistic.
I'm going to St. Leonard's Boys. My mom feels great about it, but this is not the school I wanted to go to, but they have a good sport program. I love sports, and I would like to do good at St. Leonard's.
Class 4 teacher Andrea Bisfrom offered this advice to students as they transition to secondary school life.
We spent a lot of time praying and thinking of God and using memory passages to strengthen their minds, and we are asking that they will continue to do that, and they will remember to be respectful at all times and make Grantley Prescott proud.
Congratulations. Kishmar St-Gis, CBC News.
Thanks, Kishmar. And coming up after the break, we'll give you an update on the Bashment Soca competition. So stay with us.
Yes is a beautiful word. It empowers us. It brings satisfaction. And since you earn up to 3% cash back on everyday purchases with the Scotiabank Gold MasterCard, that's a lot of satisfaction, a lot more often. Plus, you get a welcome bonus from the get-go. Scotiabank Gold MasterCard is the card that keeps on giving, so it's easier for you to create many more precious yes moments. Apply today.
Don't let your data experience slow you down. Step up to Digicel, Barbados' fastest 4G network, more than twice as fast as the slow network. Get more with Digicel. Digicel, the fastest 4G network in Barbados. Dial *153 to sign up to Digicel today.
So, in an effort to test the credibility of this so-called speed squad, we have some random questions for you to answer. How quickly can you change clothes? The bag of groceries on the table. How fast can you guys prepare a meal? And go! All right. Which network gives you the speed you prefer and enjoy?
Join the fastest team and shift your Flow Fiber broadband into high gear by upgrading now at no extra cost for 3 months. Plus, enjoy the best of Flow TV for free.
Last question. Who's the fastest?
I had to ask. Upgrade now.
Are you positive? You are negative. HIV free.
Are you positive? You are negative. Get tested and see.
Are you positive? You are negative. Are you okay?
Are you positive? You are negative. Get tested today.
Live Up, the Caribbean Media Alliance, in association with Scotiabank, PANCAP, and local ministries and departments of health, are for the 10th anniversary of Regional Testing Day, providing free HIV testing and counselling. Visit us online at iliveup.info for a schedule and full list of testing sites. Shouldn't you know your status? Live up for those you love, protect, and respect. Come on, get tested.
Are you positive? You are negative. Live up today.
50 years on since the establishment of the National Insurance Scheme, Barbadians are again being reassured that the scheme remains stable. Minister of Labour and Social Security, Dr. Estebayo Suku, says the NIS remains true to its slogan and is a lifeline for thousands of Barbadians. She told the opening of the 28th CARICOM Heads of Social Security meeting that the NIS has undergone several reforms and has increased its revenue and viability. And she believes accountability is important.
Without it, fear of the unknown takes root. In this, the era of information, ignorance is not bliss. No one has blind faith anymore, not in their doctor, not in their plumber, or in their national insurance scheme. They need to see for themselves, and this information must be readily accessible. It must be at their fingertips. Today's customer is also more discerning, demanding high standards of service. They expect the national insurance staff to be courteous, knowledgeable, efficient, and effective. And they also expect to do more online than inline.
Senator Bayer Suku added that most social security systems across the region face similar challenges,
including globalization, low coverage among self-employed persons and the informal sector, the demographic shift towards aging populations with a significant impact on social security systems and indeed on health care, high youth unemployment, and we almost all have high rates of chronic non-communicable diseases. And all that before we even get to our fiscal and financial challenges. The one positive is that if we realize that we are in this together, that we have more similarities than differences, and put our heads together, then, as they say, two heads are better than one.
Just under 24 hours are left until registration closes for this year's Bashment Soca competition, and so far there has been heightened interest from artists. Earlier today, several artists came here to the CBC to register.
Simply phenomenal. That's essentially how the response has been to this year's Bashment Soca competition.
The Bashment Soca competition entries are ending tomorrow, Friday, so the usual Bayesian way influx of entries have been coming in all today, and we expect a lot more to come in tomorrow. The entries are way over what the entries were last year, so it's a very good response to the competition this year.
Apart from the numbers, the quality of the songs has also risen.
The material is evolving. For the most part, it's getting better and it's getting more creative. So I think it's definitely going to go in the right direction. I don't think anyone has anything to worry about as it relates to Bashment Soca.
Many of the artists are hoping to be in the final 12.
I'm quite confident about the tune. So hopefully they do get through. On getting through is a different thing now. On getting through, if they do get through, Horse, head of security, will be securing every single bumper that come at the venue. So make sure you get the bumper stickers done, license and registration done, the exercising routines, and the WD-40 for any races that aren't, you know what I mean, that little stiff.
I think you gotta leave it to the public and to the judges, because at the end of the day, you can't say you get there and be all cocky and stuff. So I just leave it up to the judges to know if I get to the Bashment Soca, I would like to get there to represent Bashment Soca as I did with the world. Yeah, but I think you got a good chance because Gas It Up is actually playing in heavy rotation.
I would like to make it to the competition. When I make it to the competition, I definitely gonna be bringing my all and killing them with fluffiness. For sure. So once I get to the competition, then anything else will take place.
Hopefully I get in and any public vote for me, but I get through with Pop Down. For sure. The rotation has been good. Getting a lot of positive feedback from overseas, so just hoping for the best.
Registration closes tomorrow afternoon at 4:30 p.m. Rianne Phillips, CBC News.
Thanks, Rianne. Switching gears now. With the help of the newly launched Barbados Family History Project, Barbadians are being encouraged to find out more about their origins. The program, which is being led by the genealogy group of the Barbados Museum and Historical Society, was officially launched yesterday. It's aimed at inspiring Barbadians both at home and abroad to research and document their family histories. Speaking during the launch, Culture Minister Stephen Lashley encouraged young people to become involved in the project.
Our youth should be central to our discussions on the topic. And it is for this reason that the Ministry of Culture, Sports and Youth welcomes and indeed supports this initiative, which encourages young people to explore their heritage.
Minister Lashley also suggested that there is room for collaboration between the public and private sector on the project, a move that could reap many benefits.
Awareness campaign across all media, workshops to train and empower persons desirous of researching their family histories, the creation of simple templates to assist individuals in documenting their family information.
We apologize for that incorrect extract. That was actually chairman of the project, Martin Cox, who outlined some of the activities that will be included. A magazine featuring young people in business will soon hit select locations across the island. It is the combined effort of the Barbados Youth Business Trust and the Caribbean Dream Publishing. General Manager of the Trust, Cardell Ferguson, hopes the stories of the featured entrepreneurs will inspire others to pursue their dreams.
A lot of people are interested in entrepreneurship, but they don't know how to do it. So we thought that by current entrepreneur telling their stories about how they got started, what are some of the challenges that they've had, and what are some of the benefits of entrepreneurship, then it can motivate others to want to become entrepreneurs. And so that's one of the reasons. And another reason is we want to let people know what we're doing out there. And this is an avenue for us to do this.
The first edition of the magazine was unveiled over the weekend at BMEX. Gracing the cover of the first edition is the duo that make up Azure Studios, Jamar Odwin and Daniel Nicholas. The young entrepreneurs who design clothing and accessories hope the exposure will expand their customer base.
I'm hoping that with the strategic locations that the BYBT places, the print versions, and by having it online, that more business persons, for one, are able to see it, because a lot of the work we do graphic design wise is with young businesses, and we're just hoping that with that more persons get familiar with the business and we're able to expand, especially in trying times like these.
The nation says happy birthday today to a literary icon. George Lamming, author of the iconic novel In the Castle of My Skin, turned 90 today. Our Denise Blackman takes a look at his work.
George Lamming is Barbados' most famous author. Born on June 8, 1927 in Carrington Village, he moved on to Roebuck Boys School and the Commermere School, where he was taught and influenced by the esteemed Frank Collymore. In 1946, he moved to Trinidad to work as a teacher, and 4 years later, he moved to England, where he briefly worked in a factory.
I have a theory that West Indians of my generation were made in England, not in the West Indies. It's at London that I first met Jamaicans. I'd never met any Jamaican before I got to London. And it's when they met up at London, and in these exchanges and so on, that it came home to them of these continuities and so on in their experience.
He has said the experience in England was eye-opening.
The first shock of recognition that whether you were from Jamaica or St. Vincent, or that you got when you got there, was that you were defined by your skin, not by your name or who you thought you were.
In 1951, he became a broadcaster for the BBC Colonial Service.
This man was a friendly face among you, mixing freely with the crowd which a cricket game had brought together.
2 years after, in 1953, he would write an autobiographical novel, In the Castle of My Skin, that up to this day remains a symbol of West Indian identity during the period of colonialism.
It's the reconstruction of a colonial imperial formation. So that formation happened in Jamaica, it happened in Trinidad, it happened wherever empire established itself.
Along with receiving international praise and numerous awards for the novel, George Lamming served as Distinguished Visiting Professor at Duke University and Brown University, and has lectured extensively around the world. He's also respected as a West Indian intellectual who is vocal on topics of Barbadian culture and society.
My observation today is that we still live the legacy of that original plantation society,
as well as regional development and regional integration.
The regional integration of the territories. It is the making of one house out of these territories, that French, that British, that English speaking, and so on. It's the making of that one house that then brings us then to the other chapter, which would be to the beginning of the realization of what it would mean to be a Caribbean person. We are working towards that, but we are not there.
He went on to publish several other novels which are highly regarded.
As someone who has contributed so much to Barbadian and Caribbean literature, will in due course be conferred with the Order of the CARICOM community.
And George Lamming remains a literary icon much celebrated across the globe.
In the assertion of that will to overcome, to become, to go beyond where you are, to see what is not yet conceivable by the other person. That is, I think, the foundation of the writer's challenge and the foundation, when it works, of the writer's strength.
George Lamming's early works were featured in the Barbadian journal BIM, and he has since contributed to the same publication. Denise Blackman, CBC News.
Happy birthday to you, sir. We'll take a break here, and when we come back, we'll tell you about what's happening with some of our regional neighbors.
Diamond Dazzler, it's time to play. Diamond Dazzler, the new instant $250,000 scratch game from the Barbados Lottery. Available at select lottery outlets.
Have you or someone you know been diagnosed with diabetes? If so, it is important that you know about Glucerna. Glucerna is a nutritional supplement for people with diabetes and contains Carb Steady, which helps minimize blood sugar spikes. Manage your diabetes with Glucerna. Glucerna, nutrition for people with diabetes, designed for you.
Beautiful Barbados and 4D Entertainment welcome you to the Flow Soca on the Hill, Sunday, July 23rd, 2017, where the mega stars of Crop Over 2017 assemble with the Caribbean Fest. Patrice, Skinny Fabulous, Ricky T, Orlando Octave, and Ultimate Rejects to bring you the world's greatest soca party, the Flow Soca on the Hill. Let's gather the people.
400 students in Trinidad and Tobago are on suicide watch. This latest PAHO estimate was revealed to the Joint Select Committee of Parliament, which sat to look at the state of mental health in the country. And now the committee is calling for a special ward to treat those in need of hospitalization. We have more in this CNC3 report.
It was revealed that there are currently over 400 students on suicide watch across our primary and secondary schools.
With approximately 200,000 students in the education system, that's 1 in every 500 students. And that's not the only startling fact. Some of these children are as young as 7. Dr. Khadija Khan described the problem as critical, but says no one is identifying and tracking these children to ensure they get the required help.
The problem is great. So suicide is a public health crisis in the country, and it's extending to our very young and our very vulnerable students as well.
Her professional opinion is that the education system itself may be a stressor.
I think the stressful nature of the SEA exam and the current nature of schooling in Trinidad, where people feel if you don't pass for a certain school, your academic trajectory is dismal, puts a lot of pressure on children and parents.
But available services at 2 public facilities are burdened, and as a result, she says, waiting times may be as long as 6 months.
With respect to counseling, I would say I am at pains to think about where a child in need can get those services in the public sector.
Some of these children or their parents call Lifeline. In fact, Lifeline is reporting a drastic increase in the number of high-risk calls.
This particular economic downturn has been brutal. It has had an impact.
Some of the country's mentally ill are treated at the only psychiatric hospital in St. Anne's. Some of them include detainees of the state or those brought in for 14-day psychiatric assessment.
Guyana's government has no plan to take advances from projected oil revenues. More from HGP TV.
Finance Minister Winston Jordan on Monday said the government has no plan taking advances from projected oil revenues to help stimulate the economy. Responding to questions on the sidelines of an event at the University of Guyana on Monday, the minister said if Guyana takes advances, it would be a bit dangerous for the country, adding that there is already sufficient money in the treasury but limited human resources to spend on projects.
No sense going taking advance on potential revenues to be had post 2020 when you can't spend it in the open and transparent manner that it should be done.
Mr. Jordan posited that it is risky taking advances on projected revenues, especially due to the volatility of the international oil market.
You may be predicting that you may get X amount today, and therefore the revenues that you will be able to get is so much. And then all of a sudden you don't control those prices. We're too small. We don't control. We're not a player. So, you know, there's a severe risk you will be taking that the country could be saddled overnight in debts that it can't pay and eventually be declared bankrupt.
The minister emphasized that Guyana does not have the human resource capacity to spend the huge amounts of money that are expected to flow from oil production that ExxonMobil is scheduled to begin in another 3 years.
And if you have all this money coming in with all these demands for projects and so on, you can expect what will happen. The system will collapse. There's sudden influx of money, sudden demands for projects, sudden demands for other things on a system. So we have to fix the system now.
Mr. Jordan notes that part of the solution to fix the human resource challenge is to focus on the key government ministries with a heavy spending capacity.
Overfishing and the degradation of coral reefs across the Caribbean and Pacific Islands are pushing many fish, including food sources like tuna and groupers, towards extinction. This is according to 2 regional red list reports published today by the International Union for Conservation of Nature. The report includes assessments of just over 1,300 marine bony shore fishes, a group that includes most fish species found near the shore across 38 Caribbean countries and territories. The report says approximately 5% of marine bony shore fishes in the Caribbean are threatened due to overfishing, invasive lionfish, and the degradation of coral reefs and estuaries, which provide habitats and feeding grounds for many species. Well, we'll give you a peek into sports in just a moment, but before we get to that, here's a tip from Cooperators General Insurance.
This tip of the day is brought to you by Cooperators General